Hello folks, this is Solo speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a double up game I'm playing together here with JDP El Grillo. And in this game we're going to be looking at a Noxus team composition. Another one of the kind of vertical team compositions that's emerged as being one of the stronger team compositions in this patch. We are on the first full release version our first full patch, excuse me, of set 9. So it's like the second version, but the first patch that's come out after the initial version. And out of the different options here, we always start with a portal here in set 9. There are a couple different options here, but we are going to end up getting the God-Willow's Grove. A unit on your bench can contribute traits to your board. And in fact, my little legend was actually picked this time, so I guess I had my pick of whatever we wanted. And in the end, we're going to end up playing God-Willow's Grove. As it says, you get a spot on your bench. It's that little forested spot all the way on the right-hand side. And whatever unit stands there counts as giving their traits to the board. It's a pretty interesting one. It's a little more complicated than some of the other different kinds of portals you can get. This one favors vertically scaling traits because, again, you can get the advantage for comps that might have a whole bunch of different units, and maybe at the end of the game you don't really want to play like some of the 1 and 2 cost units, but you can put one of them in the God-Willow's Grove and get the benefits from it from the start anyway. Now, as far as what I was thinking, I immediately thought about playing Noxus right out of the gate here because I have 3 Noxus units, and that gives me an opener here where I can potentially just play Noxus right out of the gate. I just need to buy that Cassiopeia, and there it goes. Going to go ahead and buy that. The 3 Noxus units being Swain and Kled, and then finally Cassiopeia, who all have the Noxus trait on them. Typically, if you want to play into Noxus, you are hoping that on the initial minion rounds, you can get either a Darius or a Katarina to drop. Ideally, both would be even better, but they are 3 cost units, so they are not likely to drop on their own. In fact, there is Noxus going into play. There's a kind of a neat little graphic that shows when you get Noxus trait in. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like red blood falling from the sky or weapons or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, it is a situation where you get the neat little graphic to show that you're playing Noxus. Okay, so what exactly does Noxus trait do? Well, I think I'll talk about that in a second. But we want to get through the initial minion stage here. I guess I should talk a little bit about the legend in this particular patch. So after the initial release version of the game came out, there was a period of about 24 hours where Draven was buffed, the legend Draven. Draven's not a champion in this set. And Draven was just like super overbuffed, and everybody played Draven for like 24 hours, and then they released an emergency hotfix patch, after which Ezreal has emerged as pretty clearly the strongest of the legend options. So I'm playing Ezreal right here. And in fact, I'm going to take the initial Ezreal augment, which is Buried Treasure. Buried Treasure gives you some components right out of the gate. You get 1 component right away, and then you get additional components for each round that follow that up. And so it's pretty strong overall. It's a little bit too strong because not only do you get components, you also get gold too. This is just the silver version, so you get 1 gold and 1 component on the round when you take the augment, and then the next round after it, you get another component and then another gold piece. But the gold version gives you 3 items or 3 item components, and the prismatic version gives you 5 items. So yeah, it's a very strong option in particular because you not only get the components, you also get the gold as well. Really does everything you'd want at the start of the game. It gives you items to slam to get stronger, and also gives you additional gold to get your economy up and running. It's definitely too strong. And after they nerfed Draven in the emergency hotfix patch, excuse me, got a bit of a cold here, which is odd because it's the middle of the summer, but I do seem to have a bit of a cold here. After they did the emergency hotfix nerf to Draven, Ezreal is pretty clearly the strongest of the legend options. So that's what I'm running here. Grillo has just continued to run Poro, which is you don't get any legend. The Poro legend, you don't get any options, which is kind of nice because you do get the most non-tailored augments. So you have a highest chance of just rolling something good naturally. All right, anyway, though, so I am playing through Noxus trait. I have Noxus trait in. I said I wanted to cover what exactly Noxus does for those who might be new to this particular trait. So Noxus is an offensive trait, as befitting the lore associated with Noxus. Noxus units gain health, ability power, and attack damage. So those are the stats you get: health, AP, AD. All of those very good to have. And then The interesting about the thing about the trait is the base value is increased by 10% for each different opponent that you have either won a combat round against or is dead. So that can stack up to 7 times because there's 7 opponents here in the game. And in fact, in double up mode, you automatically get a win counted as against your partner. So you automatically count as having a win against your partner. So you start with a 10% bonus. So just to give you some idea of what these numbers look like right now, this could change in future patches, but right now, Noxus 3 gives all your Noxus units 160 health, 16 ability power, 16% attack damage. So every time you win a combat, or if one of those players dies and is out of the lobby, you gain 10% of that. So you would gain, if after you beat one opponent, you'd gain 16 more health, 1.6 more ability power, 1.6 more attack damage. So, winning one time against an opponent doesn't do that much, but if you get the full 7 stacks, it's quite significant. It's 70% higher than what the base amounts are. Noxus is a trait that really typically spikes in the mid game. It's kind of a tempo trait for those who might be familiar with when we use this term. It's kind of a trait where you want to get out in front of the lobby and start win streaking with it, and that's because it just provides an awful lot of stats to your team. As I said, you get, and by the way, I already have the bonus against 2 teams, now 3 teams after winning that round, 1 over my partner Grillo, and then the 2 rounds that I've won so far. As I said, though, it's a trait where you want to kind of get out in front of the pace of the lobby, win streak early, get those stacks as early as possible, and take advantage of the fact that your units are just getting extra health, extra AD, extra AP. Since it's a purely offensive trait, it's a setup that can falter against really tanky setups because it doesn't really do that much to improve survivability. I mean, I guess it does to some extent because you do end up getting extra health, and extra health is always nice. But it is something that can falter against really tanky lineups. As I said, it's a bit of a win more trait, if that makes sense. Like if you're already winning, you'll win even more with this setup. But yeah, it's something that definitely can be strong, and it's relatively strong in this patch in particular as well. All right, so I'm going to end up getting a decent shop here. I hit the 2-star Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is currently holding items for a future Katarina. And I'm just playing the 3 Noxus right now because it wouldn't make sense to play more. I also took a glove there so I can potentially make a Hand of Justice, which is a good item on Darius, not nearly so good on Katarina, although it is playable on her. Grillo at the moment is playing a Demacia opener, but he's not going to play that long term. Demacia is not very strong in this particular patch, and he was still trying to figure out what he was playing here, so that's why we have not been using the sends, the little thing where you can send a unit to your partner over much. He's still trying to figure out what he's going to end up playing, although he will actually end up playing a multicaster reroll if I remember this game correctly. So I have pretty good traits in. I'm actually not hitting the actual Noxus units that well so far. I've got the Cassiopeia, but that's my only 2-star. Still, I have a lot of traits in. I have 3 Noxus, 2 Slayer, 2 Invoker, 2 Sork. I'm getting Sork trait from having Mauls sit there on the bench in the God-Willow's Grove. So keep in mind we have the God-Willow's Grove in this game too. Long term, I would want to get up to 6 Noxus. And because of the God-Willow's Grove, I'll be able to cut one of the Noxus units, and only I can get 6 Noxus while only playing 5 of them if I want, which is pretty nice because Noxus units are heavily low-cost units. There's 7 Noxus units here in set 9. You have 2 1-costs, and that is Samira, who we haven't seen yet, plus Cassiopeia. So 2 1-costs, 2 2-costs, that's Kled and Swain, who are both on the board right now. 2 3-costs, which are Darius and Katarina. They are the main carries for this comp. And if you're going to play Noxus, the goal is typically to 3-star Darius and Katarina. You cannot keep pace with late game boards if they are only 2-starred. It's just not, you're just not strong enough as 3-costs. And then there's no 4-cost Noxus units, and then the 5-cost is Scion. So 2 1-costs, 2 2-costs, 2 3-costs, and a 5-cost. Kind of an interesting pattern for a trait that has 9 units in it. Or 7 units, excuse me. Noxus 9 is extremely difficult to make. You have to have at least 2 Noxus emblems in order to make Noxus 9. So it's not something that's going to happen very often. It is a makeable emblem with spatulas. You can do, the recipe is spatula plus belt is what gets you a Noxus emblem. So it is craftable, but you're not going to be making 2 of them that often. Excuse me. I will say I think Noxus is better here in double up mode than in the single player mode, just as Anima Squad was a little bit better in double up than in the single player mode in last set, in set 8. Again, a couple reasons for that. It's a little bit easier to hit your 3-star 3 costs if you have a partner who can help you find the units. You can pretty reliably hit Darius and Cat 3-star here in double up mode with a second person to help you find them. So that's one reason. Another reason why is you get spatulas a lot more often in this game mode because you have the gift rounds where you get to send something to your partner. By the way, there's Darius, so that's great. We'll definitely put Darius on the board. So again, with the ability to send stuff to your partner, it's much easier to get spatulas. And having spatulas, Noxus is a craftable emblem, so you're much more likely to be able to make them. So those are kind of the two main. Oh, and the other thing is it's easier to get wins against other players when you have your partner to help out. Plus, you get one win for free over the other team anyway. I believe I'm going to get sent the 2-star Swain here, if I remember correctly, because I had 2 out of 3 Swains, and then Grillo can send to me for 2-star Swain, and I actually put the wrong unit on the board there. I need to get the Darius in. I almost commit Hand of Justice accidentally, but thankfully I don't. And then like I said, I believe he's going to send me the Swain here, if I remember correctly. Or is he going for Swain as well? Maybe not. Maybe he also needs to go for Swain on his board. So perhaps I misremembered there. Anyway, so I wanted to get Darius on the board. Oh, I didn't actually end up making Hand of Justice. I just put the glove on him. I was going to see if I could make some other crit-based items for him. I also have Kale in there, which is pretty funny. Kale really doesn't fit my board at all, but she does have the Slayer trait, so sure, why not? We'll put her in there. Probably would make more sense to take her out and put in a Juggernaut because that's a much more important trait for this board. When you're playing through Darius, who's going to be my main carry unit for the moment, it's more important to have Juggernaut trait in than to have Slayer trait for Kled, who Kled's not really doing all that much. So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to get our second augment of the game, and this is the other Ezreal augment that's really strong. Big grab bag. Gain 2 additional components, 12 gold, and a Reforger. So I'm going to look to see if I can get anything better than that. Slayer Crest is tempting. Could play more into vertical Slayers, but I was like, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take Big Grab Bag instead here, although I should roll Unified Resistance to see. Should have rolled the other augment just to see what the option was. And I'm going to end up getting 2 more gloves. Ah, there we go. There's the... there I am actually getting the Swain 2-star. I was just a round ahead in predicting that. So now I've got 2 more gloves, and this is actually not that bad because Darius plays really well into crit stuff. I'm going to send the Talia over to Grillo. Again, he's playing a multicaster reroll board, so that's going to work out pretty well for him. And I really should put Warwick on my board over the Kale. Let me see if I'm going to do that. I'm also going to reforge one of these. And okay, the belt's maybe not amazing, but I can probably find something to do with this. It could be a shield breaker in worst case scenario. But yeah, I probably should play the Warwick over the Kale. Kale's just not really doing that much. That would give me Juggernaut. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make the Hand of Justice, put that on Darius. It's a pretty good item on him. And the reason for that is Darius really does want a lot of crit stuff. He really wants like Infinity Edge plus some kind of healing item. Bloodthirster's quite good. Hand of Justice is not bad either. And then you could potentially get a defensive item, but it's also not bad just to have more offense on him instead, because Darius is a reset-based champion. And the more damage you have on him, the more likely he is to reset. He's just kind of all offense. I'll go ahead and read his official ability description here. Darius. All right, his traits are Noxus and Juggernaut. Ability is Noxian Guillotine. Deal physical damage to the current target. If they die, immediately cast this again with reduced damage. Right now as a 1-star unit, every time he recasts it, it does 82% of the damage of the previous cast. So it does go down over time. If you can get him up to a 3-star unit, though, every subsequent cast is 90% of the previous value. So it doesn't go down very much at all if you can get up to 3-star. But yeah, Infinity Edge is really good because you very much want his ability to be able to crit. And that's what IE does. It does physical damage, so IE is much better than Jeweled Gauntlet here. Bloodthirster is good. So you also want him to be able to heal off the damage that he does. It's actually very important he can heal as he deals damage, because otherwise he just dies too quickly as a melee unit. So I've got the Hand of Justice on him, which will give him some healing. Bloodthirster is also quite good. Bloodthirster is probably a little bit better because he gets the shield when he uses his ultimate. But Hand of Justice is not bad because it gives you additional crit stuff with the glove. So either more crit chance, or if you have Infinity Edge and you're already auto-critting, then that bleeds over into additional crit damage. So the Hand of Justice is quite good. And then something like Titan's Resolve is good. Quicksilver Sash is not terrible either. Just standard stuff for a melee AD champion. Well, I've only found 1 Darius so far, so I've got a long way to go. I'm trying to find 9 of them, and I'm only at 1 here in the middle of stage 3-4. The good news is Noxus does not seem to be contested in this lobby from what I can remember. I don't think anyone else is playing this. Now, I would have liked that sword to be able to make an Infinity Edge on Darius, but that's not going to be an option here. So out of these remaining options, I'm going to look and see what else I can get. And I guess I can get either another glove, and I've been super heavy on gloves throughout this lobby. I don't really need another glove. Since I don't really want that, I will take the belt, and that'll make a Warmogs for frontline. And then, oh, hey, there we go. That's a high roll. I go from 1 Darius to 3, just like that. That actually makes my board significantly stronger to go up to Darius 2-star, just like that. Okay, here I chose the option of a component anvil in the gift round from my partner, and there was a sword in there, which is what I was looking for. So now I've got Infinity Edge plus Hand of Justice, and now for my last item on Darius, uh, less critical now that I have healing and have Infinity Edge. Again, Titan's Resolve would be nice. I could go for more healing with Bloodthirster. I could get something like Edge of Night so that he can drop aggression in the middle of a fight. Quicksilver Sash would not be terrible so that he can't get CC'd at the start of a fight. So a number of good options there. And meanwhile, I am looking to find multicaster units for Grillo's board. We're going to try to 3-star his multicasters. When you play multicasters, you really have to re-roll because all the multicasters are inexpensive units. 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost units. There are no 4 cost or 5 cost multicaster units. And multicaster is about the only trait in the game you cannot get an emblem for. It actually makes sense because if you could multicast some of the 5 cost units, that would be a little bit ridiculous. But what would a multicast Scion even do? I don't know, but it'd probably be overpowered. So that is not an option in this set. You can't get multicaster emblems. Well, anyway, we've been win streaking here, and the main reason why I'm win streaking is just off the value of all the stats that you're given through the Noxus trait. Here, I'm going to have the option to send different things to Grillo. I believe I sent him the spatula because he would very much like to make a Sork spatula. You can't make a multicaster spatula, but you can make a Sork spatula. All right, we're going to drop Kale for Zed. Zed is a much better Slayer to play because he will put the Rogue trait in play, and I'm going to want the Rogue trait for Katarina. I would also very happily drop the Malzahar, who's still giving me Sork trait, and that's not really doing very much. If I could find a better unit, I would happily drop him there. I just haven't found something else that I think is better yet. Probably should have put Juggernaut in. I think that was the mistake. It should have been Juggernaut because I'm playing through Darius. He's kind of my main unit. It's like Darius, Swain are carrying me right now. Swain to tank for me, and then Darius to kill everything when his ult resets. And yeah, look at this. We got another board here. I don't know quite what this person's playing, but looks interesting. They kind of are all over the place. It's like 4-cost grab bags over there on their board. Problem for me here is, look, they have their own Swain who has a Bramble Vest. What does Bramble Vest do? It shuts down crits. So I need Darius to get off a bunch of resets. Oh, he comes up just short on the Talia. Oh, man, if he had actually killed that unit, I think I probably win this fight. And needed to survive 1 second longer for Grillo. So unfortunately, my win streak comes to an end right before the minion round, which is never when you want to lose that minion round, lose that win streak. So disappointing. But at least Grillo's win streak managed to stay alive there. And then I've got a Lux here. I actually asked him, did he want Lux? But I believe he does not want Lux for his board. If I remember correctly, I don't know if he actually plays Lux. I think he just wanted the multicasters. I can't remember. It's actually been a few days since we played this game, between when we played it and when I had a chance to record it. Anyway, I'm up to 5 Noxus now, so all I need to do is find one more Noxus unit. That technically could be Scion, but let's face it, it's not going to be Scion. It's going to be Katarina, unless I get insanely lucky and find Scion at 1% odds. Anyway, so minion round there. Excuse me, I'm going to end up getting an awful lot of components here. So I do want to roll at least a little bit. I want to get 6 Noxus in because it's a big spike, excuse me. So I'm trying to see if I can find at least 1 Katarina here. Since, as I said, 6 Noxus, going from 3 Noxus to 6 Noxus is a big spike for my board. And I'm still looking. I'm like, where is this Katarina? I don't think anyone else is playing Kat, but there she is finally. So we're going to drop the Lysandra. We'll go ahead and put you in. And there we go. There's 6 Noxus. And I'm going to put the 1-star, what's her name? The 1-star Samira on my bench because Samira is, she's just a trait bot. She's not going to do anything for me. So I am happy to go ahead. I'd use the God-Willow's Grove to get her on the board. Meanwhile, I also have Zed on the board, and then I guess I technically have Malzahar in, but I can play a much better unit than Malst. Again, I really should put a Juggernaut unit in for Darius so that he gets reduced damage as he uses his ult. And then I have to decide what I want to send over to Grillo here because I've got to send for him. I have 2 out of 3 Vel'Kozes, so I think we were hoping I could hit 1 more and then get him 3-star get him a 2-star Vel'Koz so that he would be a third of the way there to 3-star. Anyway, all right, so what are we going to do here? We got our last round here. I'm looking at the different options, and this one here, Mana Burn, is actually quite good. Gain a Shroud of Stillness. All enemies take 3% of their maximum health as true damage each second until the first time they cast their ability. This is one of them. Oh, I guess I did end up sending in the Lux. I thought I didn't end up sending it to him, but no, that's clearly wrong. I did end up sending it to him. So anyway, to get back to my augment, this is a pretty interesting. Oh, and I'm going to sell the Cassiopeia so I can transfer these items over to Katarina. And I just figured I'd go ahead and do this right now. I do drop from Cassiopeia 2-star down to Cass 1-star, but that doesn't really matter that much. She's really just in there as a trait pot now. And in addition to that, I already have 2 out of 3 Cassiopeias again, so I'm not far from 2-starring her again. I do not really care about 3-starring Cassiopeia. She's, as I said, really just in there as a trait pot. She is giving me a rank of Noxus and also gives me a rank of Invoker. Also Shurima, but I'm not playing into Shurima in this game. Now, as to the augment I just took, as I said, this one gives you a Shroud of Stillness, which is always good. Late game Shroud of Stillnesses are awesome because you can mess with people, slow down their cast with the Shroud of Stillness, but it also burns the enemy team for damage until they cast their first ability. And that applies to even units that you don't hit with the Shroud of Stillness. They still have that burn effect applied to them as well. So like you get some extra damage on the enemy team. Also, I believe it also counts as a healing debuff, but don't quote me on that. Like just getting a Shroud of Stillness alone would be really nice, and then you also get like this extra burn damage on the enemy team too. By the way, there's a Senna, so where's my Gunner's board from the last patch, and then there's an Azir in a game where I'm not playing Azir. I actually could throw him on my board. He's actually much better than Malzahar. Do I remember to just throw him in over Malz? He would give me a rank of Strategist trait, and that's clearly better. Or I ended up playing Invoker instead. That's not bad either. Invoker gives my whole team additional mana generation, so that's actually not bad. But Azir would give me the Strategist trait, and he's just a good unit as a 4-cost, so he would be worth playing too. But yeah, anyway, so for right now, my board is quite strong right now, and that's because Noxus spikes pretty hard when you get 6 Noxus in. It just gives so many stats, particularly if you have the various Noxus stacks all stacked up, which I believe I have a fully stacked Noxus. I believe I have all 7 out of 7 wins over other players thus far. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that I do. So Noxus 6, by the way, this round is not going so well. I'm up against this what is it, an Invoker's board. Yeah, I wasn't able to get to the front line here, so this round didn't go all that great, but otherwise we've been doing pretty well here. Anyway, when you get to Noxus 6, currently the benefit is 300 health, 28 AP, 28 AD. So you figure multiply that by 1.7, 300 health, that goes up to about 500 health, and then it's about 40 ability power, 40 AD. So like 500 health, 40 AP, 40 AD, right around that. That's not the exact number. That's pretty good. That's a lot of stats. So you can often just kind of like outstat your opponents for what that's worth. Not like doing anything crazy, just having more total stats buffing up your team. And of course, I also have an awful lot of item components from taking the Ezreal options. Well, anyway, there's another Darius, so I'll happily grab that. That gets me up to, 4? So I still have a ways to go here. And then the question is, do I want to roll here on 7, or do I want to try to go to level 8? And the answer is I'm going to try to roll here on 7. This is a 3-cost comp, so I'm looking to find 3-cost units here for my board. I'm looking for Darius and Katarina, mostly. And then I also have found these Sonas that I can send over to Grillo. So he doesn't have that many Sonas yet, but he is on 6 Vel'Kozes, so I only need 1 more Vel'Koz for him to get 3-star Vel'Koz. So it actually makes a lot of sense for me to roll both for my board and also for his board as well. Because if we can hit 3-star Vel'Koz for him, that's going to spike his board pretty hard. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, he does have 6 Vel'Kozes. Yeah. He has a Goldmancer staff on Teemo right now. But Vel'Koz is the unit that he's closest to 3-starring. So hopefully between the two of us, we'll be able to put that together. Anyway, Darius gets his resets off. Very nice. I was able to make a Titan's Resolve there. I took a vest so I could combine it with the bow I had on my bench and make the Titan's Resolve, which is a very good item on him. Good in general on tanky units. But especially tanky, it's like tanky bruisers who need to deal damage, but also be beefy. It's a very good item on him. Now, I also have an Aatrox here, so I was like, do I play Aatrox? And I was like, I think that I do. I think I just play that over the Soraka. That's definitely better than Invoker. That'll get me another rank of Slayer and the Juggernaut trait. Now, Aatrox makes for a fantastic Noxus unit, too. It's just very hard to get to him because he comes so late in the game. And again, I'm finding more Dariuses, so that's good. 5 Dariuses so far. Considering how I had poor luck at hitting him initially, that's looking good. And then Grillo has 2 more, so we're on 7 combined. Again, it helps that people in the lobby are not playing Noxus. I believe I'm the only one playing Noxus in this lobby. this was played early in this patch being released, so it's not surprising that maybe people were still adjusting to some of the new builds. Oh, now look at this. Darius pathfinds into the back line instead of getting stuck on that Swain. That's or Nasus, excuse me. That's excellent. I don't want him hitting the unit that has the Bramble Vest, though he did manage to get the kill anyway. Again, note how he's healing on every instance of his ult because he's got the Hand of Justice right there. So we're able to win that, and Darius has just about perfect items. I mean, I guess you could say Bloodthirster over Hand of Justice, but I mean, he pretty much has perfect items. So I would have picked up the Sona here, but I already have a Sona 2-star on my bench, so there's not much point in picking up even more Sonas. I don't even have the Send for Grillo right now, much less multiple Sends for the future. So first Send. Oh, and anyway, I believe he hit the 3-star Vel'Koz on his own, or no? No, he didn't. But I believe he was one off. I think he was on 8, so he only needed one more. So there was no need for me to hold additional Vel'Kozes. Better actually to put that back in the pool if he only needs one more. All right, we're going to get more item components here. I'm looking to continue trying to itemize Katarina at this point. So I'll look to see what I can do here. This is the last round where you get components. Again, I'm continuing to roll here on level 7. All right, there's another Darius, so that's 6. Hopefully Darius or Grillo can find one more and make a 2-star. And then I was like, all right, this is not a great item on Katarina, but Titan's Resolve is better than anything else I think I can make. There we go. There's 2-star Cat. So she'll be scaling throughout the fights. She's going to have double scaling, Archangels plus Titans. And then he hits the 3-star Vel'Koz naturally, so that's pretty nice. I also have a Gwen that I could look to play here too. So I wouldn't mind doing that. And then I just had the components for a redemption. So I'll put this on Aatrox. It's really not an Aatrox item, but it was like put it on him or Kled or Zed. I think I'd rather have it on him. In part just so he gets some mana so he casts a little bit sooner. By having a tier item, he casts, like 2 seconds faster on the round, so it's probably better. This time I'm up against someone who's playing a Gunner's board, and they have made a 3-star Jinx, and so they ended up spiking their board there. My board will spike when I can hit 3-star Darius or 3-star Cat, or better yet, both of them. Right now I'm kind of in one of the lulls for Noxus. Like I said, there's a big spike when you hit 6 Noxus for the first time, which usually you can do end of stage 3, beginning of stage 4. But then you're strong for a little while, and then it kind of falls off. By the way, here I have a Trickster's Glass, which gives you a clone unit. The problem is, I already have both of my all my good units are fully itemized. So, like, I can't put that on Darius. I can't put it on Katarina. They're already fully itemized. By the way, I'm still rolling, and I'm really close right now. Look how close I am. So I had to put this on somebody to make use of the Trickster's Glass. And by the way, this was random. I did not get my choice. So I think I just end up putting it on the Aatrox because I was like, Aatrox is a 5 cost. If I can ever 2-star him, it'll be really nice to have 2 of him. Also, I don't know how that interacts with his Darken trait. If you're unfamiliar with this trait, he has a 5 cost that hasn't seen that much play so far in the set. Darken trait is whenever Aatrox or the holder of the Darken Blade dies, the Darken Blade is equipped to the nearest allied champ, granting them 400 health and 15% Omnivamp. After being equipped to a champion for 5 seconds, Aatrox will revive upon their death. So I guess that provides 2 Darken Blades, I think. I'm going to have to watch when the clone dies and see if he's able to give the Darken Blade to somebody as well. I would imagine that it does work that way. I could be wrong, but I think it works that way. Anyway, Grillo is coming in here, and it's down to just Aatrox. Who wins this fight, Aatrox or Aphelios? Looks like Aatrox is on it, so yeah, ended up winning that fight. And we're going to knock one team down to 1 HP. By the way, Grillo's been win streaking for quite some time right now, so he is quite rich, which is good because he needs to keep re-rolling for this. Anyway, I'm just going to send him the Sona. I was sitting on that for a long time, and now he's going to be a lot closer to the 3-star Sona, which I think he has like 7 Sonas at this point, something like that. Meanwhile, I'm on 8 Dariuses and 7 Katarinas. I will say these are 2 good comps to play together because both of them rely on 3-starring 3-cost units. And you can kind of help each other by taking 3-cost units out of the pool here because I'm rolling for Darius Katarina, and then he's rolling for Sona and who's the other 3-cost? Vel'Koz. He already hit Vel'Koz. So I had a bit of a lousy roll down there, but I did finally hit the Darius 3-star, so that's good. I would need to hit that soon, and then I just need to try to find Katarina, and then I can probably go to level 8 and play another unit. Most likely unit would just be another Slayer unit because that will continue to make my Slayer units that much stronger. I guess those are not kind of critical units for my board. I could play, I could try to play like another rogue unit, but that won't get me to rogue 4, whereas more ranks of Slayer, Slayer is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trait, so every rank in that is just inherently better, inherently good for the rest of the team. Everybody who's playing Slayer trait. Anyway, Darius had a nice little duel with the 2-star Gwen, but he's going to win that. Again, he is super tanky between having Juggernaut trait plus Noxus 6 plus his Titan's Resolve. He's very, very tanky. And then he has Infinity Edge, so his ability can crit, and then Hodge, so he heals off of some of the damage dealt. So he's pretty strong there. All right, and then look what's here. There's another Slayer emblem here. I was like, oh, well, there's not a Noxus emblem, but there is a Slayer one. I was like, I would take the Slayer emblem if no one else wants this. I could actually get up to 5 Slayer if I could level up and like play Gwen or something like that. So let's just continue diving deeper into this. I would actually love to have this on like Katarina. This would be great to have on Kat for instead of like the Titan's Resolve, but she's already fully itemized. So unless I have an item remover, not going to be able to make that happen. Anyway, now I'm on 8 Katarina, so I really just want to roll and hit this last one. Even if that means rolling it down to like 0, I will spike really hard. There we go. So now now I've kind of hit my main comp there. And I was trying to see who the heck do I put this Slayer emblem on. I was like, Swain, but he's fully itemized. Darius, he's fully itemized. Kat, she's fully itemized. Zed, well, he's already a Slayer. Kled, he's already a Slayer. I was like, Aatrox, he's already a Slayer. So literally the only unit on the board that can take this Slayer emblem is Cassiopeia, and she's not a very good user of the Slayer emblem, but sure, why not? All right, well, yeah, now I have 4 Slayer in here, so if I could ever 2-star the Aatrox, that's going to be really, really nice. But now I have dual carries, really. I have the Darius and I have the Katarina, and both of them can carry pretty well. So can Darius reset on everything? He wasn't quite able to kill Kaisa, but I think he has enough health that he's going to be able to, yep, finish this off. That person has an Ionia emblem on their Kaisa. They're also trying to 3-star Kaisa, but they're not quite there yet. And now we are down to just 2 other teams in the lobby. So we've really been strong throughout this game. We weren't too concerned. We're like, all right, we're on 70 health. But then, oh, wait, what's this? 3-star Azir, 3-star Yasuo. Oh, my God. They just hit 3-star Azir and 3-star Yasuo. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. I guess this game isn't just a cakewalk after all then. We're going to have to deal with double 3-star 4 costs on the enemy team. I was like, okay. I mean, I think my board's actually pretty strong, but I don't know. 3-star Azir, that feels pretty good. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do against this. Also, this person's tank lane is quite beefy by this point in time. This is the person I've been seeing throughout the match who has the Bramble Vest, and the Bramble Vest really counters Darius quite hard. So it's going to be up to Katarina. Can Katarina do this? No, she cannot. And unfortunately, Grillo lost his round as well. So we were like, oh boy. Oh man, they're on 2 HP, so we have to win at least one round to drop them down to 1 HP, and then we have to win another round after that. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh boy. All right, well, that's the challenge. How do we deal with these 3-star 4 costs? Of course, there are some ways to deal with them. We can always try to get a Zephyr. I would love to get a Zephyr right now. And I do have a Shroud of Stillness, so that's not nothing. I can slow down how quickly they cast. We also, again, we have way more health than them, so we don't have to win like a majority of rounds. We just have to get one win to get them down to 1 HP, and then another win after that. So, by the way, there's a champion duplicator, or it's a lesser one. Why couldn't I have gotten that earlier when I was re-rolling for Darius? That would have been nice a little bit earlier, but well. So out of these options, I was like, Edge of Night for Aatrox, maybe? I don't know if this is that good, but I didn't really like my options available that much. And I'm going to go ahead and level, and I'll toss an Invoker trait just so we get that. Again, I think another rank of Slayer trait is better, but I will have to find Gwen for that. All right, so I'm going to see the other one here. And by the way, Grillo hit 3-star Swain, so his board's getting pretty strong too. I'm going to hit this team, the Challenger team. This one has the 3-star Yasuo. Now, the good news is Yasuo does not have any lifesteal on his board, and that's going to make it a lot easier to kill the Yasuo. If this Yasuo had like a Bloodthirster and Edge of Night in addition to Infinity Edge, I don't know if it would ever be possible to kill this unit. But because this unit has no healing, we actually can chip it down over time. Maybe. I think I actually was going to win that fight, but then their partner came in and reinforced. So yeah, like I said, I think I could have won that round if it was just a 1v1. So the Yasuo board looks like it's beatable. Not easy, but it does look like it's beatable. All right, so here I have finally found Scion, so I will just replace the Cassiopeia with this. Now I should probably put Cassiopeia over in the God-Willow's Grove, except I do want to get that Slayer emblem off of her. And then I have Shen here as well. So right now I have Alessandra on my board who's not doing anything. She was giving me Invoker trait, but now that Cassiopeia is off the board, it's not doing anything at all. So I really should get Alessandra off and play another unit that's better in some respect here, because she's just not really doing much of anything. But Scion is nice. Scion is certainly a much better unit than Cassiopeia. 5 cost as opposed to 1 cost. This round, I put my Shroud on the left-hand side. I thought this person was going to swap at the last second because the last time I faced them, they swapped at the last second and put their Azir over on the left, but this round they just stayed put, and I was like, oh well, touche, mind games indeed. The mind games are real. So I'm clearly going to lose this round, but Grillo actually won the round against the Yasuo board. So he was able to beat the 3-star Yasuo. So now we just need to win one round against this team. So that's looking pretty good. We've still got that lesser champion duplicator. I ended up duplicating the Lissandra. I completely forgot that Lissandra I dropped Invoker trait. Whoops. So yeah, I really should have put in what would have been useful here. Another trait that I could make. I have no idea. Maybe just the Ari. Probably the Ari, honestly. Ari would have given me Sork trait for Swain and just a 5-quest unit. So that probably was the play there. Anyway, though, I'm trying to see what I can do for this Yasuo. There's a lot of RNG in these fights, so I'm not sure how much I can do, but I'll go ahead and move the Shroud over here, hoping I can get something good. I end up whiffing pretty much everything with the Shroud, so whatever. But at least their Zephyr didn't hit anything important. All right, now watch the Yasuo in this team. The Yasuo kind of dashes into the middle of my team, and watch, Darius is getting resets, and Darius, there we go, dunk in that Yasuo, gets him off the board. Now it's just the Kaisa. Oh, come on, can we finish off this Kaisa? There we go. Got that about 1 second before their partner came in and reinforced. So neither of us were able to beat the 3-star Azir. That board was clearly stronger than what either of us had, but it is a team game. Like we said, it is a team game. And so we had stacked up a lot more health than they had throughout the fight, or over the course of the game. Player health, not unit health. Our tacticians, our little legends, had a lot of health still banged from early in the game. And that gave us a couple rounds to try to sneak out a win. And Grillo was able to get a win in the previous round, get them down to 1 health, and then I was able to get a win that round. And so, like I said, it's a 2-player game mode, and we were able to pull this one out. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. This was the game that promoted us up to Platinum. Or actually, I think Grillo took like one more game after this, but made it up to Platinum, so that's fun. We'll see how far we get. Until then, hope you guys are enjoying this. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.